Okay, so the first thing you want to do here is really kind of get familiarized with the equipment. But since I'm going to be cleaning the PC cartridges in this thing, we might as well shut it down so it'll be a little more quiet. And what I found what you want to do to maintain the pressure and not lose your prime on the pump is you shut off two of the lines that are going out to the inlets for water to the pool, kill the power, and then close off all three lines. That'll maintain the pressure here in the pump. So this is your water heater. There's a switch that controls the main pump. There's a secondary switch here which controls this pump, which is the one that does the Polaris cleaner, which skims the bottom of the pool and will clean it up. So now we've got our system off. What you want to do with this filter here is bought a special wrench which does the plug here on the bottom. So you want to just get that loosened up and then let the water come out. I like to just kind of rinse this cap off, get the salt or sand out of it. And then you can kind of just let it rip open. While that's going, I'm taking a 7/8 inch wrench and you want to spin this strap off. It's usually a good thing every couple of times to spray this with WD-40, which will keep it oiled and kind of greased. What I found is the desirable reading on this pump is to have about 10% pounds per inch on this gauge here that you can't see. Right now we're just draining it. Just like the top off like that. And you've got this kind of assembly here. When you pop this off, you kind of want to watch this screen piece. You don't want to lose that, which kind of filters and keeps the debris out of the gauge there. So once you've got this exposed, you've got 4 filters. And pull them out like so. Key here, which I've learned over time, is that the way to clean them, and we already previously just cleaned these about 5 minutes ago, but for the demonstration, just want to make it go a little quicker. But basically, you can spray it anywhere. You just spray all of the debris out of there. One of the main things is suntan lotion, but that's usually the way that I do it, is just spray it all out of there. Once you've got your filters cleaned, it really becomes a matter of reassembling this thing. What I find that's the easiest too is it's a little easier to work in here to put the plug back in first. This nice kind of open area here to work with. And basically you just want to hand tighten that kind of about the best you can, and you can do about a 1/4 to a 1/2 turn there just to snug that up. Not a lot of pressure required. This is an O-ring, which is sometimes tricky to deal with. But you want to make sure that that is kind of in place. And there's some magic lube that you can get from the pool company, which a couple times a year I'll make sure that I'll clean this and put the magic lube on there. That helps create the vacuum. Got that kind of ready to go here. We'll put the filters in. Oh, one other trick here that I do too is after cleaning them, I always flip them. So each time when I do a cleaning, I reverse these and flip them so that the water passes through the filter a different direction than was previously in there. It's pretty simple here. We'll put this piece of the spring not too tricky. Lift your top on. Kind of gently set it in there. You can kind of sense when it seals right. You can hear a little bit of air pressure that comes through here, which kind of told me that I'm in a good. This strap is kind of tricky. Generally, it's good to have a second set of hands, but let's see if I can do it on my own here. And you want to put this washer on, and the spring and brass nut, and then you kind of just hold her in place. You want to give it a little eye around the whole band to make sure that it's properly kind of seated around the two ends here that make up the DC filter. This is a Clean and Clear Plus Pentair. It's, I believe, the model CCP 420. These filters in here last a long time if you take care of them just like this. I think you can get anywhere between 5 and 7 years, depending on how dirty your pool gets. So once you've got that on there, you want to crank this. Now the key, when you put this on here, is you watch the spring, and as it gets tighter, the space between all these loops gets closer together. So you don't want to go too tight necessarily, but once all that kind of space fills in there, it should be set to go right there. And now it's a matter of, this was a release valve, so it spins, so you want to close that up. And we should be ready here to fire it up. Now we want to kind of just reverse the process when we first shut it off, by first opening the main line. So this is the one that goes directly to the center and the bottom of the pool on the deep end. So you can open that, flip it on. Because we've not lost time on the pump, we've got a lot of water, so you can open these up right away. At this point, our gauge will come up to about 10 pounds of pressure. Sometimes it maybe is about 8, but you know what I found over time is you can get this all the way up to like 25 pounds. I think that's kind of going too long as far as keeping everything kind of clean, but certainly if you need to stretch it out, that's kind of what we're looking at here. Another thing that I find useful here is to let this run right now for about 5 to 10 minutes. It'll kind of interrupt the video here just to let this kind of run, and what happens by letting it run for about 10 minutes is it cycles out all of the air in the lines. At that point, then we'll come back to this part and kind of clean this main plastic filter that's in front of the pump.